going on, everyone? Welcome back to Backyard Barbecuing, and today I'm going to show you how I made this 2-pound cowboy. Alright, so what we have here is a 2-pound cowboy steak. It's a little over 2 pounds, but you can go ahead and get this thing ready to start cooking. Now, a cowboy steak is called a cowboy steak because it's like a tomahawk, except they cut off the bone. If you want to get a tomahawk, then the bone will be out to here or whatever. So let's go ahead and get this thing ready. So to get it ready, we're going to salt it. Sorry, you guys see Max jumping around the background. He thinks he's getting some. So we're just going to use some kosher salt and salt it up. I try to salt my steaks about at least an hour before cooking them. What the salt's going to do is it's going to draw out some moisture and then reabsorb back into the steak, giving it a salty taste throughout. Now don't be shy about a steak this size, using so much salt. You can take it, get the edges, just roll it around, pick up whatever's loose. I'm going to leave this to get to room temperature. A steak this size, you want it to get in room temperature because when you throw it on your grill, it's going to cook the outside, but the inside of the steak is going to be too cold and it won't be done. So I'll leave this wrapped up on the counter in the kitchen. Alright, so this steak has been resting for probably about 30 minutes or so. I'm kind of rushing it because it is a weeknight and it is dinner. Also, barbecue doesn't have to be perfect. Pull something off a little too soon, leave something on a little too long, whatever. We learn. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this thing with some garlic powder here. I don't typically use garlic powder, but we're going to use it today. Just a light coating of it. And to be clear, the steak was sitting outside of the fridge for that 30-minute time. So this is a step that you can do before or after. I like to add pepper before I start cooking. I like when the pepper gets a little crunchy, but you can always pepper it after you cook the steak. We'll go ahead and mop up the sides. Get all the seasoning off the cutting board. Alright, fully seasoned steak. Let's get the grill ready. Alright, so we're going to let our coals kind of burn down a little more. They're still a little black and we want to see them kind of white. Sorry if you hear my other dog in the background. I think she's protecting me from the UPS man or something. We're going to do a reverse sear on this steak. So what a reverse sear is, we're going to indirectly cook this steak. So we're going to put the steak about over here. We have all of our heat source kind of stacked on one side. I'm going to set up the lid to the Weber so the air vents kind of are on this side, so the heat has a way to travel and go around the steak and whatnot. And once we get up to the temperature we want, which is about 100 degrees, then we'll throw it on direct fire. We might have to add a little bit more charcoal, but yeah, when it gets to 100 degrees, we'll throw it on the hot coals, and sear the steak off. Max only likes two things: food and fetch. Alright, our coals have burned down a little bit. We're going to throw this indirect heat bone towards the heat, and I'll put the lid on. Alright, so it's only been about 20 minutes, but we're going to flip this thing and temp it out. I still want the bone facing more towards the heat, so we'll kind of leave it like that. And we're temping 52 degrees. I take that back, about 65. Like I said, it's only been about 20 minutes. We'll keep letting this thing go. We might move it a little closer to the fire. I don't want this to take all night. So we move it a little closer. And we'll keep checking back.
All right, so I've kind of been flipping and probing, and we're probing at about 100 degrees now. So right now is probably a good time to start the sear. So we're gonna take our steak and just flip it directly over the fire. Now this process is gonna be really quick, so don't walk away, and we're gonna be checking temperatures in between time.
In the center, 140 on the outside. Now closest to the bone, we're at about 138. So right in the center, okay, so we're looking about 130. Let's go ahead and take this thing off. That's about as much as I want to cook it. We're going to take the steak off and we're going to let it rest for about 15 minutes. Alright, so we pulled our steak off. We're going to let it rest for about 15 minutes. Now, it's really important, especially with a steak this size, to let it rest. What's going to happen is the juices are going to want to come out, but then it's going to reabsorb back into the meat. And if we were to cut into it now, the color would be off. It would look like it was cooked more on the outside as opposed to on the inside. So yeah, we'll let it rest uncovered in the house, and then about 15 minutes we'll cut into this. All right, so now that we've been resting for about 20 minutes, it's still really warm to the touch. So if you're worried about it getting cold or whatever, don't worry about it. So we're gonna slice it off the bone. Ooh, that's looking real nice. All right, let's go ahead and slice our steak up. So this steak has like a cap to it, so let's go ahead and cut that off. Now we've got that cap off. Let's slice the steak up. Say it's a nice medium. I mean, I know I'll get a lot of people that say, oh, I like a steak well done or whatever, but you know what, to each their own. I'm not going to hate on you, especially if you paid for your steak. But for me, and there's plenty of evidence online that shows that a medium rare to a medium steak is the best way to eat it. That's just a pile of meat. Alright, let's go ahead and give this thing a try. I'm going to bite it right off the bone. Hardly ever use garlic. It's usually just salt and pepper. But the garlic really does taste good. And that's a good thing about getting a steak with the bone. Obviously it adds a lot of flavor, but you can just eat it like that. Let's try a slice of the steak. Nice and tender. And really juicy. That's so good. This steak probably took us 2 hours to make, including the salt wait time. Let me see if I can cut Max a piece. He can't have any pepper or salt for that matter. Let's try this piece here. Doesn't it look so good? Let me see. Alright, so that's gonna do it for today's video. I really appreciate any and all subscribers that I get. You guys, even if it's just one subscriber a video that I put out, you guys really make it worth it. So yeah, continue to subscribe, share the video, and let me help build this channel, because I really do enjoy just making some basic barbecue. All right, until next time, peace.